This is the Victorinox One Hand Trekker knife. I haven't had this for very long, but I have carried it for a few days. It is one of the newer Victorinox knives that has the one-handed opening feature of the blade. So to me, this is a very good candidate as a sort of one tool for all type situations where you don't want to carry a separate pocket knife and a multi-tool. This would fit the bill really well. Let me just quickly show you what this particular knife has feature-wise. First of all, it has a 3-inch, the cutting edge is 3-inch, it's a 3-inch blade, partially serrated. In fact, it's mostly serrated from the tip to about 2/3 of the way back, and with a plain edge from that point all the way to the back. One hand opening is pretty easy for a right-hander. The thing that's a little bit funky is that it is a liner lock. It does have a lock on it. However, if you're a right-handed person, you're going to find that the liner lock locks the blade in the opposite way of a normal liner lock, right-handed liner lock knife. So to close this, it's pretty difficult to do with one hand. So instead of pushing the liner back this way, you're pushing it back this way. And the knife closes back in that way. And also the lockup isn't great. There's a fair amount of forward and back movement. Not much side to side, but it's a decent compromise. And you're not gonna get the best pocket knife in a tool that has this many features. As far as other features go, we have a flathead screwdriver and a can opener, standard Victorinox stuff, and then we have a bottle opener and a larger flathead screwdriver, and also some wire stripping, a wire stripping notch right there. And this one is also liner locked, so you gotta push that over in order to close it. There's a halfway stop right there, so if you're doing any kind of tight corner flathead screwdriver work, this will work for that. And on the same side there is a very useful Victorinox style saw. I love their saws. I mean, it's got a very aggressive tooth pattern that just, you know, that makes short work of cutting through pieces of wood, small branches and things like that. Now on the other side we have a Phillips head screwdriver, pretty straightforward, and then an awl for punching holes, scraping things, punching holes. This is very useful. You can grab it like this to punch maybe through, you know, a piece of leather, heavy canvas, anything like that. And there's a bit of an edge right here, so if you had to scrape something, this would be a nice tool for that. And then tweezers, the Victorinox standard tweezers, and toothpick. One thing that I don't like about this as an everyday carry, because it's something that I'm used to for my pocket knife to have a clip. And this, just like all Victorinox tools, doesn't have a clip. It has a lanyard loop or a keychain ring. This is too big, obviously, for a keychain. So when I was carrying this, I was just dropping this into my pocket, which is fine. It's not too big to have it in your pocket, but when it's down there in the bottom of your pocket, it does kind of slosh around when you're walking, and when you gotta go grab it and fish out to do some task, You know, if you got other stuff in your pocket, it makes it a little bit more difficult. It's not a quick deployment type situation. So that's the drawback with this, but the fact that you don't have to carry a multi-tool on top of your knife with something like this is really handy. They do make a version that is plain edge all the way through without the serrations. I believe, you know, generally it costs a little bit more for that, but I find these serrations fairly decent. I don't have any problems with it. This won't be a real good defensive knife just because this liner lock is not real strong, first of all, and second of all, the tip is pretty dull. This won't do a very good job piercing anything, and it is relatively thin blade, so if pressed to do some big jobs, I wouldn't really trust that it's not gonna collapse on you. But as a utility knife, it serves its purpose admirably. This is sort of the civilian version of the Victorinox Army issue knife. I don't know if the Swiss Army actually gets issued this, or if it's just the German Army that gets issued this, but they do have one that you can buy that is the actual military version. Has an olive drab like color scale. I believe it doesn't have the tweezers and the toothpick, but other than that, the features are the same. This you can pick up for about 30 bucks, which I think is a killer price for all the things that you get. You can pretty much do everything that you would want to do, short of having the scissors and pliers. So that's the thing you give up for not carrying a multi-tool like a Leatherman or a Gerber. But such a small package that has all these features in a relatively lightweight. I don't know if I weigh this, but let me go ahead and weigh this for you real quick. This weighs in ounces at 4.5 ounces. In grams, 128 grams. 4.5 ounces. It's a lot of capabilities. And inside the box, just a small piece of paper that talks about the functionality of the knife, talks about the liner lock, and maintenance, so on and so forth. So, if you've been looking at one of these, thinking about buying it, I would recommend go ahead and getting one, but knowing that the caveat of getting one of these, if you're going to use it as a replacement for carrying both a knife and a multi-tool, know that your capability will be limited. Know that it does not have a clip to be able to clip into your pocket, but the advantage of not having to carry multiple things makes this a really handy replacement if you don't think you're going to come up with a lot of tasks that are going to require those features that are lacking in this Victorinox One Hand Trekker. Thanks for watching.